Hello and good afternoon everybody, and welcome back once again for another video of DIY investing. You guys have been recommending me a lot of different altcoins, and a lot of them I haven't covered or made a video yet, and so for that I'm sorry and I apologize, but I oftentimes don't have the same level of interest in a lot of the same coins that a lot of my followers do. But today we're going to actually be diving into a cryptocurrency that I have invested in over the last 7 months, and quite honestly over the last year entirely, and it's one that I've been watching for quite a while now. I've been investing this one, buying small increments, just slowly averaging into a position, because this one has a lot more risk than conventional investments that I generally go for, but this is one that I think has a lot of profit potential and is following one of the early market cycles of one of the best performing altcoins of 2016 and 2017. This is a privacy token that has a lot of the same implementations as far as XMR and Ethereum combined. It also has a very fast blockchain time at about 10 or 12 seconds. And so this is one that I'm very excited about. I've been accumulating for the last year and I've been continuing to add to my position. It appears that it's at a point where it's bottomed. And so I wanted to share this with you guys so that we all know exactly what I'm looking for moving forward with this amazing project. If you're new and just finding this channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and then click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any updates like the one provided for you here. Remember guys, you can join my Discord server where I post all of my private analysis. You guys can click the invitation link in the description of this video and there you're going to get access to the Discord. If you also get access to the Discord, you guys are going to be able to message me or email me through either one of my social media handles in the description of these videos. And you guys can actually get a hold of my video course. It's a 20-part series that teaches you guys all of the strategies that I use to profit inside of cryptocurrency. And you guys can also get access to my private signals, all of my private trades and investments that I'm taking alongside with portfolio management. You guys are going to be able to get access to that and you'll be able to actually start trading alongside next to me. With all that being said guys, thank you so much for the support. This is a really exciting project and I'm very excited to be able to share it with you guys. I haven't talked about this one on my channel since my channel's actually started growing, so it's going to be cool to get a little bit more awareness around this project. So without further ado, let's jump right in the video today. So here we are guys, taking a look at our coin of the day, which is Dero. Now Dero is one I've talked about a lot on this channel, but if you're somebody that's just barely starting to follow me over the last couple months, chances are you have no idea what this is. This is one of my lower market cap gems that I have found. I've been buying this one for quite some time at this point, and I've just been kind of continuing to scale into this position. I haven't been really putting a lot of money into this position, but it's one that I've definitely put some faith towards because I actually do think that this one's going to perform very well. Now Dero is a completely anonymous blockchain. Now it has its anonymity, but it also has smart contracts and decentralized applications. And so now Dero takes the amazing parts of Ethereum, like its decentralized applications and smart contracts, and it combines that with the anonymity of the XMR blockchain. And so this one is like Ethereum, only it's completely anonymous. Now not only is it anonymous, but it also has about a 12-second blockchain time, so its speeds are about 12 seconds. And so what that means is you guys can send transactions within 12 seconds. So it's a really fast blockchain. It's going to be one that I personally have a little bit of faith going into this next cycle. I think it's one that is very undervalued in the way that it performs very well. On top of that, we don't really have a smart contracting platform that's completely decentralized. Well, I shouldn't say completely decentralized, but completely anonymous. Now, there's a difference between anonymity and just decentralization. Oftentimes with like Bitcoin decentralized is it gets posted to a public ledger. And as long as we know whose addresses are whose, we know who's transacting on that blockchain and on that ledger. But with Dero, you don't actually have that same sort of public ledger where everybody knows exactly who it is. Now, even though Bitcoin's a little bit anonymous in the way that nobody really knows who's sending the money most of the time, Dero actually has further measures that actually go so nobody has any idea who's sending what money when, no matter what the time is. And so this is one that I think is really important. I mean, if you wanted to create a smart contract and you wanted nobody to know the details of it, then you would program it on Dero and nobody could know. And so I think that this one has a really strong use case over the next cycle. Now, not only that, but my biggest reason for buying a lot of Dero is actually because of the fact Dero's market cycle is following the closest symmetry to XMR. Now, XMR, for you guys that do not know, let's dive into an XMR chart. Now, XMR was one of the best performing altcoins of the last cycle. We went through a very parabolic run, and it basically did 1000x from those early accumulation lows that we saw. And this one really, really exploded. Now, the thing about XMR is the fact that Dero is actually showing roughly the exact same market cycle. It's very, very symmetrical. And if we go through here, we can kind of take a look and see. So let's drag our charts over here and take a look here. So this is Dero currently. We had a short little market cycle back in 2018. This was about the time when Bitcoin was consolidating at its 6K support floor. When we sold through that support, we actually fell, and then we ended up making our first impulse. Now, I think that this first impulse really came when Bitcoin was capitulating at about 3K. And then from there, we just kind of consolidated sideways, and now we're retracing all the way back down to this trending support level. Now, I've been posting signals for Dero inside of my signal service in Discord. I've been buying up this dip quite significantly. My first bids I ever bought of Dero were actually at $1.11, so up here inside of the bear market. And then once we started to actually sell off, I bought some more down here at about 50 cents. And now I'm actually looking to scale into a new position down here at about 34 cents. And so I wanted to make this update because I'm actually getting ready to buy some more Dero. I have some Bitcoin on exchange that I'm going to transfer over, pick up some Dero, and then I'm going to transfer it back over to their exchange. And so this is one that I wanted to keep you guys updated with because I see a lot of profit potential to be had. Now we can see roughly the same sort of symmetry between Monero. I mean, it's almost the exact same chart. We went through this choppy previous market cycle, and then we started to drop. We followed the new lows, and then from those new lows we actually make our first impulse, and then we just consolidate sideways before we actually start the real uptrend in this new cycle. And so to me, Dero looks almost the exact same as XMR. We have this choppy market cycle. When we get added to the exchange, we fall to new lows, we make our first impulse, accumulate sideways before the volume picks up, and then we go into our next major bull run, right? And so this is almost the exact same. We have this real choppy action. We fall to new lows, make our first impulse, kind of consolidate sideways. And now right now where we're at, I'm expecting us to get a new batch of buy volume. Now we can see here that we have a pretty bullish volume profile. In our final sell-off, we also had declining volume and declining price, which is a clear indication that this is a bullish volume profile. Now on top of that, we also have now on top of that, just the fact that we're back on trending support is usually a pretty bullish signal. Anytime we come back down and retest that trending support, oftentimes they won't make a new low, but they will bottom at roughly all of the previous support that we have, which would have been about right where we bottomed at, about 27 cents. Now what happened was we got this big, strong, bullish engulfing candlestick right here, and I think it'll show up a little bit stronger on the weekly. So right now it looks like we could be forming a small reversal pattern. Right now it looks like a little bit of an inverse head and shoulder. But we did get a pretty strong impulse at that point. Now, once we very first bottomed right here, we did manage to break from some short-term descending resistances. Now, our first major break came about right here, and then we fell to one more low back on a trending support. And so basically, the way that it's looking currently is I think that we're about ready to see some more upside. Now, we gotta break out of a few different descending resistances. This would be my next one. Now, that would take us closewards upward. Now, that would take us close to about 85 cents right here. Now, if we could get a clear break above 80 cents, right about this area here, and break outside of this descending resistance, I think that that would be a confirmed support and resistance flip, because about 80 cents puts us at about right here. Now, if we can make it back above this level and kind of consolidate on support of that, I think that that sets us up for the next major impulse in that cycle. But right now, we're just basically at the square one. We're at base support. And so we need to see some new buy volume come in, and we need to see some impulsing soon. Otherwise, this thing is going to drop down a little bit lower. But my biggest reason for being bullish isn't necessarily the dollar pair. But if we take a look at Monero on the Bitcoin pair, we're going to start to see exactly why I am so bullish. Now, we do get roughly the same sort of market cycle where we get this choppy action, we follow the new lows, make our first impulse, and then from here we kind of get our retrace back down onto trending support. After our impulse, we get an ABC correction back down, ABC back down. And so with that being said, guys, once we broke outside of that descending resistance. This was our first cycle. We fall back onto trending support. We break outside of that, and then we went into our big impulse, right? And so Dero to me looks exactly the same as early day XMR, and we're just in this phase right here. We had the market cycle, we fell to new lows, we made our first impulse, we fell back onto trending support, and now we've broken from trending support, and we're about to start the next cycle back up. And so if we take a look at Dero, we can see that we landed at the very bottom of my buy box that I had drawn here. We have all of this descending resistance. We've been rejected off of this descending resistance once, twice, 3 times, and then right here is where things get interesting, because technically we are outside of that descending resistance. And with the current consolidation, we've actually fallen even further outside. And so what that tells me is that we have broken from all major descending resistance, even though we fell back down and retested all of the previous support. That's kind of what happens oftentimes inside of a corrective market. And so we've retested all previous support. We have a bullish volume profile with these lower highs on the volume and lower lows in price. Declining volume, declining price is always a clear indication that this is a bullish volume profile. And so we're now watching to see what's going to happen here. But if we take a look at XMR back in the day, we did the exact same market structure. We had the same market structure. When we get added to exchanges, we chop around, we fall to new lows, and it's almost the exact same. We chop around here, fall to new lows, make our first impulse. First impulse, we have this ABC correction that takes us back down onto trending support. Basically all of our trending support, which is roughly the same thing that we saw here, go down to trending support, we bottom, and now we're just starting out the secondary part of our cycle where we actually start to go bullish, right? And so that's what I'm watching out for here. I think that we're going to get another sizable impulse back up. This impulse very easily could take us to the cycle high of our impulse. And the cycle high of our impulse would be clear up here. And so we could see something very impulsive that takes us all the way back up here. I'd expect somewhat of a short-term pullback, maybe back down to here before, we round out and then go into our next major impulse. Something very similar to what happened back here in the days of Monero. And I think that this is what we have to look forward to, guys. I think that both of these are on roughly the same sort of accumulation cycle, because Dero itself is going to be taking money from XMR, and not only just XMR, but I think it's also going to be taking money from these Ethereum platforms, such as decentralized applications and smart contracting platforms, because all of these same people that accumulated XMR, same people that accumulated Ethereum, I think are actually going to be buying Dero. Now, that's a little bit of a bold statement, and a lot of people might talk down on me for saying some things like that, just because Dero still has a lot to prove. Nobody really knows about Dero. I think it has less than $5 million in market cap, but that's why I'm actually telling you guys about it right now, is because I do see that this thing has a lot of profit potential to be had. So Dero itself only has about 10 million in the total circulating supply. Now, if this thing actually does start to turn around and we go into a major bullish cycle, then it doesn't need a lot of money to actually go into this market for the price to get boosted to pretty extreme levels. And so now Monero actually went really high in its cycle. It went all the way up to about $500 from these early accumulation lows. We saw about a 1000x return from those lows. So I'm actually expecting that we'll see something similar here inside of Dero. Now this one's a little bit more of a reach. There's a little bit more risk, which is why I haven't put as much money into it. But I do see roughly the exact same market structure here. And so a $450 or a $500 Dero would be at over a 1000x. In fact, we only need to go to about $300 for it to be about 1000x. And so about $350 will get you 1000x in this coin. Now, $350 is really not that much money to go into this project, because it only has 10 million total circulating supply of Dero. And so realistically, if it needs $1 billion invested, that would send it to about $100. And so $3 billion in market cap theoretically would send it to 1000x. And so it really only needs a small amount of money. I mean, $3 billion is a lot of money. A lot of the top coins got that inside of the last cycle, but I think there's actually going to be more money in this next cycle. And so coins like Dero will actually have a pretty good chance of hitting that multiple billions in market cap. And so I think that we could very easily see something like that maybe we see like a $300 billion market cap inside of these cryptocurrencies. That would be very big. That would be bigger than what we saw inside of Ethereum in the last cycle. But with these earlier coins in the early parts of their market cycle, they don't need as much money to go up that high, and especially ones with small circulating supplies like Dero. And so for that reason, I'm actually really bullish on Dero. It looks similar to the XMR chart. It looks like we're just down here in this early accumulation phase before we actually start the next major impulse back up. It looks a little bit different in the way that we still have... It looks a little bit different. It looks a little bit different because we did sell off a little bit lower. We about fully retraced this impulse, whereas XMR didn't. We retraced and just fell to the 786 before going up. And so there is a little bit of a difference. That's why I haven't put so much faith into this one. But I do like the overall idea. I love the fact that it's I love the fact that it's anonymous blockchain. On top of that, you can use decentralized applications, create your own smart contracts. So it takes the best things of XMR, it takes the best things of Ethereum, and then it combines it into a really fast blockchain. And so I think that this one has a lot of profit potential, and that's the reason why I've accumulated it. I wanted to keep you guys on the radar with why I'm so bullish on this. I actually do believe that we could see 1000x potential inside of this, which is why I've accumulated so much Dero. And I mean, really, when I say I've accumulated so much Dero, it really isn't that much in my overall portfolio. I'd say that it's less than 2% of my total portfolio is in Dero. My reason for that is just because with this one, I can put a small amount of my portfolio in it. I can just hold it for the next bull run and just kind of let it go. And at that point, I'll make a lot of money if it does what I think it's going to, but at the same time, if it doesn't and I'm proven wrong, then I'm still making money most likely, and I didn't risk a whole lot to do it. And so for me, that's a big reason why I'm actually bullish on this. I don't need to invest a whole lot of money to make a significant return if I'm proven right. This is one of those dark horse candidates that not a lot of people know, but I think has a lot of profit potential based off of what I've seen, what happened inside of crypto, based off of the same similarities that I'm seeing between previous coins that did 1000x returns. So this is really my biggest reason for being so bullish. Now, with all that being said, guys, this is the video I had for you. Wanted to keep it simple. Wanted to give you guys an updated analysis inside of Dero for some of you guys that actually followed me for a while. Some of you guys that never heard of this, make sure you go check it out. I think that it has a strong use case in this next cycle, and a lot of people are going to be adopting it here shortly. So with all that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in. I will catch you in the next video. As always, peace out.